Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to another installment of our chat, my series summer chat that I'm calling it because I'm trying to do it during the day, do it during the summer while I'm off. I've been honored to have some very special people here this week and last week. And today I have a very special guest as well. We have Margaret from Texas Treasures. Margaret has earned a reputation to just be called Margaret now. A lot of people stumble on the title of her channel, but it's Texas Gal Treasures because we've already gotten to know her so well. We just call her Margaret. But first, I'm going to introduce my co-host and co-producer, Kelly, and then we'll let Margaret tell us a little bit about herself.
Hi guys, it's Mama. It's Kelly, Hip Flippin' Mama. I have a top-rated eBay store and a YouTube channel called Hip Flippin' Mama. And I am just here assisting Thelma with technicalities and watching the chat for questions. So please, any questions that you have, highlight my name, put lots of question marks in them.
Now, Margaret.
Oh, my turn. Hi, everybody. My name is Margaret. Texas Gal Treasures is my channel. And I just realized I didn't share in the group. So if anybody pops up in the chat, or even if you're if anybody pops in the chat that's in Texas Gals Jewelry Lovers, grab the link, go throw it over there. And if Mary jumps on you or anybody else, just say, Margaret, tell me too. Okay. So, hello, everybody. My name is Margaret. I already said that part. I'm a stay-at-home, work-from-home mom. I homeschool my kids, and I sell a lot of jewelry.
Yes, you do.
Thank you for that quick introduction because I do want to ask you some questions.
Okay.
About Austin, the myth versus the reality. A lot of people romanticize Austin. It is a wonderful little town. I call it a little town compared to Houston, but it's got its own ambiance. It's got its own culture. Can you tell us about it and whether or not you've enjoyed it as a stay-at-home, make that money at home mom?
Yeah, I have. I mean, there are definitely differences because Houston is ginormous, and I had my route at home. You know, when I would go garage sailing, I could just take I didn't have to make a big plan because there were garage sales all over, and in a very small area. And here, garage selling is one of my favorite ways to get jewelry. They're way more spread out, and a lot of neighborhoods here like ban garage sales unless it's at the community garage sale. So that's kind of been tricky. And the Goodwills here mostly don't sell jewelry other than like the China, like mass produced stuff. So there are a couple savers I found, a couple like smaller thrift stores that have jewelry, but that part's been a challenge because I used to be able to go out for garage sales at like 7:30, 8 and be home by 10 and have like a massive haul of stuff. And now it's stretched out because I have to drive a little bit more.
You have that garage sale magnet though. I swear every time I tune you in, you found something gold, 18 karat gold, 22 karat gold. I don't know what it is, but you really do have that good luck. You have that good eye, I guess. Do you ask everyone when you walk in the door at the garage, do you have jewelry or what's your method?
Yeah, if they don't have any out, I'll usually ask. And sometimes they'll say, oh, you know what? Let me go get da-da-da. Or one time I went to one and she like got a dolly and dollied out the whole, like one of those tall armoires. And there was another lady there too that was like on top of it, but there was plenty to go around. You just never know, right?
Yeah. Have you made a trek out to the bins yet?
I have not. I drive by it frequently, one of them, because there's a few of them here. But I have my kids with me always. So I'm like,
yeah, that's hard. You don't want to take the kids with you. Probably take one out of the week and go by yourself.
Do your guys' bins have jewelry at them? Because the bins 1 hour away from me does not have jewelry.
She hasn't been to one yet.
Oh.
I heard some people have seen the jewelry because I know. Well, I follow Alma. I think she's Thrifted Escape as well. And she's in San Antonio. And she goes all the way to Austin to go to the bins. Though she does have one in San Antonio. So maybe one day you could make a trek out there to both of those.
How bad? I mean, I'd be interested in knowing if anybody's taking their kids to the bins. How bad would it be? Or is it like taking your kids to the bar? You know,
I don't even like to take my kids to the grocery store when they were growing up. That was tough.
I have no choice. I have to take them everywhere I go.
But I find at the bins it's an advantage because everyone's grabbing for everything. And one day when I was at the bins, I was grabbing because there was a plethora of Coach purses. My granddaughter was going around and grabbing all the Coach purses and throwing them in my cart.
Oh my goodness.
And she'd go around and grab another Coach purse and throw it in my cart. And of course, we didn't keep all of them, but you know, she helped me. So
that's a good point, because maybe the other people won't be mean to the kids.
Yeah, that's true.
I can use it to my advantage.
And then you basically can tell the children you can get whatever you want because it's so cheap. And so they're getting 3, 4, 5 items as their reward for helping you.
Maybe I'll go, like, I need to find when's like a slow time and just kind of go dip my feet in to the water.
Let me say hello to a couple people in the chat, and then we'll continue. We have T. Marie Gallery, which was Teresa, and Pamela, Michelle, Debbie at Deb's Treasures, and Michelle O. are a few people that have joined us. Thank you guys so much. If you do have any questions for Margaret, be sure and highlight them somehow. And we will throw her links, of course. If you haven't heard of her, you've probably been under a rock. But please do go and subscribe to her when you see her link there. I also have to ask you about data collection. That's one of the things that really drew me to your channel. I know that I didn't know you till you commented on one of my videos, and then I started watching your videos, and they were always fun. You know, you've got such a cute, infectious laugh, really, and giggle, and you used to have such fun. I see that you have fun when you go to the garage sales, but I was drawn into you because you were very kind of systematic. Like, you had a data collection. You used to put all of your stuff in. You used to show us your spreadsheet. You had a goal, which I find so admirable. When you had, I think it was $400 or $500 you wanted to make per week. All that really drew me into your channel, and I think that's why your subscribers are so loyal to you as well, because you had all of that. How do you manage that now?
I don't use the same sort of spreadsheet. I just don't have the time now that I homeschool. It's impossible. But what I do is I keep an inventory note on my listing once I list the item. So I put a little note so I know what I paid for it. So when it sells, I can do cost of goods sold on it. So that's pretty much all I can do now, because, yeah, I mean, having the kids home all the time is a lot more challenging. And I haven't talked as much about my financial goals as maybe I should share more of that, because I do, you know, have to keep up with a certain income to make sure that, you know, the bills are met and everything like that. I don't talk about that a lot.
Yeah, that really motivates people. I know that, you know, they say, you know, I'm an educator, you were an educator, and it's all about data. Everything's driven with data, or it's like it didn't exist, right? If you don't prove it on paper, it didn't happen. It doesn't matter what they walk in and see you do or whatever. They have to see it, you know, grow and grow. Right. So that's really important. I'm sure you still do some kind of things like that. You know, my planners are horrible. I actually thought you were coming on yesterday. So mine is so lax. You must have some kind of system.
Well, yeah. I mean, a lot of times the videos are my documentation of what I paid for things.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
That's true.
We have a question in the chat. T. Marie Gallery would very much like to know, and I know you both sell on Etsy, if she finds vintage jewelry and repairs it or restrings it, can she still sell it on Etsy as vintage or handmade as long as she discloses it in the description? And also, if she's restringing it and she's making it or adding to it, does she have to disclose it?
I
would call it upcycling. What would you do, Margaret?
Yeah, it depends on how much she altered it. I'm interested to hear what you would say too about, you know, if she didn't really alter it a lot, but just say restrung it or like reattached beads, then I would just keep it as vintage and just make a note of that, you know, that it was restrung or something like that. But if you altered it, then yeah, upcycled would be a great way to describe it.
Yeah, because I've done that, like with handbags. I've talked about doing the silk handbags, and I'll do stamp art on it.
Oh, yeah.
And they've sold without any, you know, fanfare or anything going on, any lashback rather. But I also want to do it like with denim jackets. I've been getting like vintage t-shirts and doing things like that with the vintage jackets. But I really want to ask them as well, because I'm not sure how. Then, of course, you're going into copyright. And
Yeah.
somebody else's art. So you never
So
really.
if it's a signed piece and you alter it, really, then that's copyright infringement.
Yeah, and then the person that's buying it may not want, they may think they're really getting a Monet or a Trifari or whatever.
So really, anything that you do, you're needing to disclose it.
Right, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Tell us how you got started with reselling. I know that you've got a beautiful collection from your grandmother and you were overwhelmed with that, but did you have any other kind of background where you like to thrift or your parents like to collect antiques or anything?
Well, my grandmother was a huge collector of everything, and luckily for me, it was a lot of really nice stuff that she collected. So, I mean, it's kind of bittersweet that I had so much stuff from her that a lot of the family didn't really want to take, and so it was kind of left to me to figure out what to do with it, which is, learning how to resell. But I didn't nobody was really into garage selling or thrifting at all, pretty much. But when I started staying home with the kids, before I started homeschooling, my husband would just say like, hey, why don't you get out of the house? It was Saturday morning. He was home. Get out of the house, go sit at a coffee shop, go look at garage sales. He just like off the cuff said it. And I had like $30 in my wallet. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll go look at garage sales. But as I was looking, I was like, wow, I don't want this thing, but this is pretty cool. I mean, somebody might want this, and it's $25. And so it just kind of like snowballed from there, kind of a combination of having some of my grandmother's stuff and then looking at garage sales. So.
Yeah. That's how I got started too, with a friend who took me to, my uncle used to like garage sales. I went with him a few times. But as far as really getting addicted to thrifting, it was a friend who once took me to a Goodwill here in Houston, the flagship Goodwill, huge, huge Goodwill. And I was no looking back. That's been like 25, 30 years, and I can't stay out of them now.
Yeah. It's like if you hit that jackpot the first time, you're hooked, right? It's just like, yeah.
Another question I wanted to ask you was, how did it go from that to finding YouTube and a community here?
Well, when I first started reselling and like picking things up at garage sales to resell, not just like my grandmother's stuff that was passed down, but when I was like buying stuff at garage sales cheap and flipping it, I honestly was like having a moral dilemma. I was one of those people that was like, is this legal? Am I allowed to do this? Like
I remember you said that in a video. I remember that.
Yeah. And so I started just Googling it, and then like people like Steve Rakin were coming up. And so I started watching him, and I got to know him personally. And so really early on, before I ever started YouTube, I was talking to him on the phone, and he was encouraging me to start a YouTube channel. And so I did. So if you love me or hate me, that's what I would say. Love me or hate me, blame Steve.
That's awesome. That is really awesome that you did it like that. But you're such a hands-on person too. I always see like you really go for what you see. You see an opportunity. You don't just wait for somebody to knock on your door. You go out there. You've always, to me, seemed that way, and it comes through in your videos. It really does.
Yeah, sometimes it comes across as pushy, but well, I mean, I'm the same way in homeschool stuff. So it's like, oh, my kids love chess. There's no chess club in the area. Time to start one. Okay, my kids like this. There is no this. Okay, time to do this.
I remember when you went from your children being in school to homeschooling, and then your husband changed jobs, lost his job. You moved homes, all while homeschooling, all while still running your YouTube business, still running your sales, still doing, all of these, pop-up sales and everything. And I'm thinking to myself, how is this woman doing this?
Exactly.
I don't sleep a lot.
Yeah, 4 hours, huh?
lots of coffee, lots of makeup, not a lot of sleep.
Yeah, definitely. But how are the kids? I feel like we've seen them grown up, even though you just showed them recently in a few videos. But how are they doing, and what grades are they in now?
They're doing really well. My youngest is going into 4th grade, and my eldest is going into 6th grade.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I like the way you talk about that they go to garage sales now. They're actually learning from you how to make a buck, how to not sit back and, you know, just get money on the table and leave it.
Yeah. Awesome. They have a table in my workroom when they're like cleaning out their rooms. Well, I'm not going to give this to my cousin. Let's see if we can sell it, you know, on a local garage sale site. So there's a pile of Nerf guns over there. But they get it. Like, I have this Star Wars stuff downstairs, and my nephew was here, and he was like, "Can I have one of these?" And I was like, "No." And the kids are like, "No, that's money sitting in that tub."
Yeah. But, you know. You've been on YouTube now, what, 5 years, 4 years?
Gosh, yeah, probably. I don't know exact. I guess 5 years, probably.
Yeah. I don't even want to say how long I've been on, because then people will start watching the old videos and watch me. So that's the last thing I need.
I actually learned how to test for silver and gold through Margaret.
Oh.
Yeah.
Margaret, how often do people recognize you out in the wild?
Almost never.
I can't believe that.
True.
Because I know they've spotted you at a good one. They had your picture there.
That was like in California or something.
That's incredible. But
but there was one time here that we were at actually Joann's Fabrics. I think it was Joann's. And I came around the corner with the kids, and a lady recognized me, and the kids were mortified.
Really?
Yeah. But that's it. Like, every now and then I get the feeling like I'll be at a thrift store and I think somebody recognizes me, but they're not saying anything.
Yeah, they're probably just trying to be polite.
They just keep looking. But it doesn't, honestly, it doesn't happen very much at all.
That's funny. I find that hard to believe, because you pretty much, I mean, I'm not going to say you're the first one to ever do a jewelry jar, but you were the first one that I saw do it live. You were doing live before it was such a common thing to do lives, about 2-3 years ago. I really think that's what started the frenzy. So it's really.
I agree.
Yeah, she was.
I agree. She was the first that I saw.
Especially the live ones, and I think that's what made it so exciting, and that's kind of why I'm actually doing more lives now as well, because people really like that interaction. You get to learn what you're looking at, and they can teach as well.
Yeah, it's and as a YouTuber, I mean, there's different types of YouTube channels, but I think in our niche, like, there's such a huge community that doing live videos is such a great way to really get to know people in the community. So
yeah. And going back to your sense of entrepreneurship, that now you did merch, you're also considered the merch maven. Say what you will, but the first name that comes out when you put in merch is Margaret of Texas Scout Treasures. So I like the way you did that. And then but you don't stop there. Then you're now doing dresses and what do you call these, covers for your phone?
Yeah.
Tell us about that. I just love the way you'd never stop. You're never complacent.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just life, I guess. You just got to keep going. Yeah, with Printful, I've been doing a lot of merch stuff lately, because I need that, what do you call it? The word just went.
Income.
Well, income, but
Creativity.
Yeah, so that kind of passive income where it's not passive up front, but once you front load it,
Dreams.
Yeah, then it's like it's trickling in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so merch is really good about that. But then Printful just keeps putting out all of this really great stuff. And I wear dresses and skirts almost exclusively. Mm-hmm. And so I was really excited when they started making, well, they had them, but I was figuring out how to make them correctly. And then they just put out print-on-demand jewelry, which actually is not good. So hopefully they'll fix that.
Wow. So yeah. Tell us about Printful. Is that an app? Is that, you pay for that? What is that?
No, you don't pay for it. It's an online, well, it's kind of like Merch by Amazon, where you can upload your designs and then you just have to have a store or somewhere to push it. You can sell it on Printful, but you can sync it with Etsy, eBay.
Sort of like Teespring.
Yeah, only you're pushing it to your own. Like I know Jeff has his own website. You can press it to your own website.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, so you can sell it just about anywhere. And I like that a lot. So
Yeah.
We've got a question from This and That, Margaret.
okay.
She wants to know, what was your first big flip that got you really, really excited?
It was cufflinks and a tie tack or tie bar, and both of my ginormous flips were both cufflinks. So
I remember those. They were English, weren't they? Made in England?
Yeah, the second one they were made in England and they were gorgeous. And I ended up taking them to the gold guy, and I ended up getting $400 for them, give or take. And I don't think he melted them down. He must have sold them, but they were English hallmarks. But the ones before that really got me started really kind of digging more into jewelry were they were gold with jade stones. And they were cufflinks and a tie bar that I sold to Germany for $400.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
T. Marie Gallery wants to know 2 questions. How many listings should you have before you break open the Etsy store?
1. But if you're really wanting to, like, I would say try to get your front page filled. What is that? How many get fit on the first page?
30, I think.
30, somewhere in there. But I would just say start. You'll build it. Yeah.
And she wants to know also, T. Marie Gallery, what jewelry is selling best for you? If you're willing to disclose that.
Oh yeah. I'm not a secret. I don't keep anything secret. I'm horrible at that. Let's see. I'm looking over there to see what's on the table right now. I got a ring on the table, and I sold a mystery lot today, which I put kind of everything in. And then what have I been selling lately?
Like our statement necklace is out.
The turquoise, you sold some turquoise.
Oh yeah, I've been selling quite a bit of turquoise and silver lately. And I'm like, when you put it out in the universe, it comes back to you, like, oh, universe, I'm looking for more turquoise and silver.
Yeah, well, that's how I started looking for cufflinks too, when I saw what you were finding, and I found some that were abacus, and they turned out to be, I think, 12 karat gold, and I sold those for a good $300. But I would have just ignored them, and apparently the little church charity shop that I was at ignored them too. They had them on the counter, but they had them for like $5. So
yeah, a lot of times they're just that's what I really started with was men's stuff, because it's so overlooked. Because most people don't know it or look at it, or they don't think it's anything.
Exactly. Like all of us, Margaret, do you ever struggle with motivation to keep listing? What reinforces you to keep listing? And also in your YouTube channel, because sometimes your most popular videos it can get redundant for you to make them. I know a lot of us have struggled with that, who've been on here a couple of years. How do you keep it fun?
Well, listing for sure. I've been struggling. I do struggle. It's sort of like a roller coaster. Sometimes I do great. I try to make sure that I have a ton of photos taken. So when I feel the bug, like, oh, I've got a few minutes, I feel like listing some stuff. Right. I've got a bunch of pictures done. So I'll take a batch of a whole bunch of stuff. And then with the YouTube well, for me, I enjoy doing a lot of live stuff. It can become expensive. Yeah. As you're buying, thread up boxes or jewelry jars. And not to say I don't have a ton of them still sitting here as I'm looking at them now.
Yeah.
But it's just time sometimes. And there are times when, as you know, there are times when trolls or just negativity like sweeps over everything. Yeah. And you just kind of like, you just want to give them all the finger and walk away, right?
Yeah.
I have.
Remember that time with the fabric?
Yes. I was holding it very.
Oh, it was cool though. It was really cool. And I commend you for it, because it's what some people need.
Yeah, it's so trying to not let that get to you, but then sometimes after a while it does, especially if you have other things happening, because people don't know your personal life usually, so if you've got it coming at it from all angles, you're like, you know what, I need to take care of number one for a little while. And that doesn't happen a whole lot. So yeah.
Well, we're glad you're sticking with it, because we enjoy it. We learn a lot. I love your tutorials as well. So her link will be in the description, guys, and we are dropping the link. If you haven't subscribed, you must subscribe. And she has a lot of Facebook as well, Facebook groups, jewelry groups. Tell me what you get out of the group. I know we get a lot out of it. We learn a lot, but what do you get out of it?
I get a lot of eye candy.
Yeah.
I learned so much. Just because I've never said I was a jewelry expert. I'm a jewelry enthusiast for sure. But when I get in the group and I see like what was it yesterday? Somebody had like a tie bar with this glass cover, and like there's a lady named Peyton in the group. I don't know if she's here, but she just had like all of this information. Even my video yesterday where I was going through rings talking about keywords, she was like, pull that Russian da-da-da-da one out. I was like, the what? I didn't know that keyword. So I was like, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, I have a binder that is half full of all of the costume jewelry that you said were the best ones to look for, and in the video that you pulled up, the examples, and I've got them right down the line with drawings of what the hallmarks are. And
nice.
Oh yeah, it's like school 101.
I haven't done any of those in a while.
Yeah, you were one of my inspirations to get into jewelry.
Oh, I'm glad.
I've been an eBay seller for 20 years or for 19 years. And yeah, I love costume jewelry, vintage costume jewelry. And yeah, those videos were one of my inspirations to get into the jewelry. So thank you for that.
Oh, thanks for saying that.
Yeah, most definitely. It's the truth. But what kind of content? I know that for a few years back, rather, you had done like a book video channel. You had done, I think, like a nerdy kind of channel. We enjoyed all that.
Oh, yeah.
What else would you like to see yourself doing? And would you ever do another channel? Or do you want to just kind of sandwich it all in with your great channel?
Well, starting a YouTube channel is hard. And I think I was spoiled at the beginning because I didn't care, and like the money, it's different how I definitely do it for fun, but it's interesting how things and the way you think about things change when money starts coming into play. And so as much as it's like, I don't want to think about the money, but I got to pay my bills, and you want to try to keep it fun. So and YouTube has changed their rules for monetizing and everything. So starting a YouTube channel now is way different than it was 5 years ago. But I do have another channel. I have a channel called Homeschool Honey.
Oh, that's right. You do.
Yeah. And it's got, I don't know, like 1,300 subscribers. It's, it's not monetized yet still, but it's cool because it's a place that I can share. I don't know why. Like have that. I just have to show everybody, like, look what we're doing. Look what we're doing. I don't know.
I feel like it's kind of a journal too, especially for me, that I have older children and they probably don't even watch my videos now, but one day they may, or even for myself, I just want to chronicle what I did, what I thought was important, what I shared. And yeah, I think it's good to mix up some content. So there's nothing else that you'd like to put. I like your cooking ones too. I love those crackers. I need you to repost that or
which one?
Somewhere. The one with the crackers, those spicy crackers.
Oh, those are like a holiday treat.
Yeah, and they were so good. I took them to my school and put them in tins, and they were a big hit.
Yeah, those are my grandmother's secret recipe, spicy cheese crackers. Or she called them spicy cheese cookies, but they're not sweet.
Yeah, so those were fun videos, and maybe you'll do some more of that.
Yeah. I was thinking about doing a little bit more about, budgeting and living on a smaller income, and trying to figure it out because, homeschooling and.
Yeah, but you have that. I'm sure you have some great support from your husband for the channel.
I've got your Instagram in here now, Margaret, as well as your YouTube.
Thanks. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So and the children, do they still like being on the TV with you on the YouTube?
Yeah. Yeah, they don't mind it, but they don't get as much because I record, some during the homeschool, doing some of our homeschool stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're okay. They don't, I mean, it doesn't.
They don't care either way.
No, they're not dying to be on it. They have a friend who thought it was super cool. Like, your mom has a YouTube channel, like, and so we ended up doing one of the Munch Pack videos with them because he was like really interested. He really wanted to have a YouTube channel, and so.
Well,
you had one there for a while that was always trying to get on camera.
Yeah, they still run in. I had to give up on like saying like, y'all, if I'm recording, stop, because it's just not realistic.
No, it's not. And you know what they say, that anybody want to hurt, if somebody wants to hurt someone or those predators, they live next door to you sometimes.
Yeah, that's not.
You can only protect so much, but
yeah, I mean, that's, yeah, and especially now that they don't go to public school, you know, it's not like they're rarely away from me in that setting where somebody else could come up and be like, oh, you know, I know your mom. And especially, yeah, they're both pretty skeptical of strangers, or there's a guy at, this is maybe off, but there's a guy that he works in an office near where a dyslexia teacher is, and he has to pass through, and like sometimes he'll come through and like ruffle their hair. And like, you know, she's like, don't do that. I don't want you touching me.
Don't touch my child.
Yeah, they're like, So
yeah, that's exactly what I mean. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, stay off the internet, this and the other. No, watch who you're with, who your teachers are, who your coaches are, and just be cautious of everything around you as well.
Yeah.
So, how did you start liking jewelry, and what kind is your favorite?
Well, I did start with cufflinks and stuff, and then just started noticing like silver jewelry, things that were easy to spot, that were like, oh, I think I know what this is, I think. And then it just kind of blew up from there. My favorite, personally, personally, like, I like funky things, and I like earrings a lot. So I have a million earrings. I like long chandelier type earrings, even though sometimes they look too dressy for what I'm usually wearing, but they make me happy.
No, they look really pretty on you. And you're liking Austin, and you've introduced your friends as well. You've made friends there, and you're acclimated as well. Has homeschooling been really tough for you, or are you really enjoying it and no regrets, I'm sure?
No, well, for sure, no regrets. And we've made so many more homeschool friends here. I'm surprised at how many friends we've made in such a short time. So that's been really nice. What else? Like, I forgot the rest of the question, and I'm just like winging it and pretending like I can remember.
You have a small group, Margaret, where you all take turns, like 1 week school will be at this home, and then 1 week school will be at your home, or is it strictly just homeschool with you and your children every day?
Secluded. No, we have we have some different groups that we're in, like Facebook groups where we have park days on certain days of the week. And then they've been going to like an enrichment school. They did that from January on. That was 1 day a week for just like 5 or 6 hours. But no, I mean, every now and then I'll have like I've only done one so far, where I was like, hey, I want to do a science lesson. I was looking at the science lesson for the kids, and I was like, this would be way more fun with a group. So let's, you know, it was all about molds and stuff. I was like, let's get gross, everybody, come on over, you know. But that's pretty much it, kind of one-off type things like that.
You told us you're a science nerd, but your major was actually what in college?
Theater, before education.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you break into a song and make us smile with that too.
Yeah.
Does that too. Kelly's got a beautiful voice. Yeah.
Let's hear it, Kel.
Kel,
What's that?
I was telling her you always break into a song too.
Oh, yeah. Hello, Margaret. We're so happy you're here. You're sweet and kind and so beautiful.
Good all the time too.
We're so happy that you're here with us. Margaret. So I can't think fast enough on my feet to rap, but
But you're good. You're good. Just like Margaret sings a song for us now and again.
Yeah.
Have you honed your reselling down to pretty much jewelry? Or you just still pick up whatever you see that's unique, right?
Yeah, I still pick up some things that are not. I'm looking at this chicken purse over here. I still gravitate towards like the vintage purses and stuff. They're just kind of floating around my room. And then like I got this Lazy Susan over here. I don't know what I was thinking, but it was a wood company that looked like pretty cool. And I was like, I get this Lazy Susan.
Yeah, I like that one. I know I like the purse you showed. It looks like a bustier, the black one. You just showed it, I think, a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
it looks just like a girl's bra or something, the little shape of the top. I don't know if you noticed that, but I might use that keyword. That's what it was.
Patent leather, you know.
Yeah, because it kind of had like a sweetheart top frame. It was so cute.
You're talking about a purse?
Yes, it's a purse, but it's a vintage purse. And you know how feminine those purses are. They're so cute.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's a thing.
No, most definitely.
There.
So where are the kids now? You put them somewhere?
Yeah. Well, they really want to play video games, but before they're allowed to play video games, they have to do silent reading and they have to do quiet time. So that takes an hour. So I was like, okay, well, I'm on Miss Thelma's channel. You guys are doing silent reading and quiet time.
Oh,
so
good.
And they always listen so well for you.
Yeah, because I beat the crap out of them. No.
Like the good old days, right? When you children and it wasn't illegal.
No. They just are really good. They just are.
I think we have a question about dyslexia. One, Johanna wants to know about. She's frustrated and curious about her son. She had dyslexia when she was growing up and wasn't tested till 3rd grade by a specialist. Did you get a handle on your son's dyslexia pretty quick, Margaret?
Well, as a teacher and as a mom, it probably wouldn't matter if I was a teacher or not. You just know like something's off. Like they're super smart, but there's just like some little thing, right? So, and I knew as a teacher, like 1st grade, they don't normally test for dyslexia.
Yeah.
Talking about it, like I really think he's dyslexic and he wasn't crossing the midline. That's a whole nother thing. So 2nd grade, as a parent in Texas, if you say, you know, especially in writing, I want my child tested for dyslexia, the school has to do it. You know, it's none of this like, do you think we should? But if you put that request in, they're obligated to do it. So they tested him and he didn't qualify, which surprised me.
Oh my goodness.
So 3rd grade, you know, and normally they don't test year back to back. So it's every 2 years, or it was. So I was like, look, I know you tested last year, but I really, you know, he's really still struggling. I really think, you know, you need to do something about this. I mean, still like classic reversal of letters. Not that that's all that dyslexia is, but just a lot of classic triggers or things that you would see. And so they were like, oh, well, let us look at the testing they did. Well, they didn't do the complete test. It turns out they only did part of the test.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, well, we can finish the 2nd grade, like the testing that they didn't do, the portion they didn't do. Well, guess what? When they finished the actual rest of the testing, he qualified.
Yeah.
So
they usually don't touch them till 3rd grade because they think it's developmental. They want to make sure all the developmental issues are done. But yeah, you're so right to completely, you know, advocate for your child because nobody else will.
Yeah, a girlfriend of mine was saying, you know, oh, I went to the assistant principal and I asked if he thought we should test. And he said no. And I was like, no. You don't ask him. You tell him you want your child tested, you know, because, if you ask, that's not, they can say what they want. But I mean, there's so much research done that, you know, the earlier you can start those interventions, the better off they're going to be. So
exactly.
See, they tested my daughter and she was always switching her numbers and writing certain letters backwards. And they tested her and they said, well, we believe it's more behavioral. And so I was like, okay, I believe them. We went another year. This was like second grade.
Yeah.
Third grade, we had her tested again. They said, no, we believe it's behavioral. Fourth grade, tested again because I wouldn't let it go. They said, no, we believe it's behavioral. And to this day, she struggles with it. So
Well,
I don't know why she wasn't being diagnosed.
Well, as a SPED teacher, I got to tell you this, that ADD does cause learning problems.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and ADD does cause behavioral problems because they can't sit for very long. So there has to be different ways to teach that child, basically anything to get them to move. And they're doing that in my grade level in 7th and 8th grade. They're learning that kids cannot sit for 40, 50, 60 minutes and listen to a lecture. They need to move around. They need to write. They need to go make a model of something. They need to move. So it's kind of sandwich and comorbid, as they say, you know, those words they use.
Yeah.
They can be all of the above, and then dyslexia can play a role as can ADD. So just keep asking for those tests. Yeah.
Yeah. And another thing too, like we just got our younger one tested. You know, we took him to get this it's called neuropsychological testing, but it's like for ADHD and dyslexia and all this stuff. So we got all this battery of tests done because I thought for sure he was ADHD too. Dyslexic too. We already knew he's ADHD.
Right.
Okay. But it turns out, and it makes me wonder about my other one too now, as far as dyslexia goes, he's not dyslexic. My younger one has a visual processing disorder. And so it can mirror some of those dyslexic traits. Sorry if you're here for jewelry and you're getting
We're here for the chat and to get to know each other.
Yeah. So you know, he's got, you know, his ADHD, he's got sensory processing issues, which is another huge reason that we're homeschooling, you know, and what we thought was dyslexia is a visual processing disorder. So we have to go get vision therapy. It's like occupational therapy, and so we're going to be doing that amongst other things. So
many things have popped up now. My daughter's 26 now. So, you know, this was 20 years ago. So many advances have happened between then and now, which is wonderful.
Yeah. But let me give you one tip, Margaret. Teach your boys cursive. Scientists have already had lots of studies on how cursive helps so much with reading and spelling and writing, because they're taking their time and learning and memorizing. It's a scientific breakthrough that they're bringing back. We're bringing it back in 6th grade because they didn't do it in 3rd.
Yeah, we totally dropped it.
Right? So now our school is bringing it to 6th grade. We're doing, I think, 1 month of cursive. None of these children do cursive, and they've realized that cursive helps children with dyslexia. Yeah.
So Jane, their dyslexia teacher has been working with them on cursive.
Awesome. Yeah.
But they hate it.
No, but still, it's in the long run, it'll be better. And I have a son that struggled with writing, period. He had horrible writing.
Oh, mine are terrible.
So to this day, he always says the best way to learn, and he's an attorney, the best way to learn anything, he tells his younger nephews and everything, is to write things down in cursive as neatly as you possibly can, because then you get that memory really seared, you know. So I'm glad you're doing the homeschool channel. I hope it goes well for you. And again, we'll link all of those channels here. I'm so glad to see that you guys are doing well in Austin, and your home is nice and comfortable now. I hope you don't have all the troubles.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm cursed.
It's okay though. It all works out in the end. I'm sure you have a beautiful home.
Oh yeah, yeah. We got some built-ins done downstairs. We did just yesterday have to get the dryer vent. I mean, it's still something. We had black widows in the garage, and like,
oh no,
it's just like a couple of months ago. And then the dryer vent, like the people that lived here before didn't hook it up right, so I had to get that all redone yesterday. I just quit complaining about it online.
Hey, no, Margaret, I've got a question.
Right. Well, we have to keep.
Go ahead, Margaret.
No, I was just laughing. Did y'all freeze? I thought y'all froze.
No, I've got a question for you in regards to, you sell on 3 different platforms, correct? Or is it more?
Well, I don't do Poshmark anymore.
Okay, so you're doing eBay, Etsy, and
That's it for reselling, pretty much.
okay, so eBay, Etsy. How do you do your paperwork, and how do you keep it separate between the 2 different platforms, or do you just combine them as to profit, cost of goods, profit, fees?
Yeah, I have it all combined. I use GoDaddy bookkeeping, and it like pulls it all in from PayPal, from all the sites, and then it makes a beautiful little spreadsheet that I send to my CPA and say,
It combines the 2.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're doing the spreadsheets.
Yeah.
Good, good. Well, I hope to see more of you on making those videos to teach us how to do all that merch. I keep watching them because I have the account, but I have not sat down. Maybe this summer I can do it. But then you go on and do dresses and other things, and I'm still back trying to make a t-shirt. So I'll have to. You do have playlists though, and you have a Patreon still, don't you? Do you not?
I do. I'm not as active with it as I was before. But it's something that I probably should revamp and go back into a little bit.
Yeah, and is it dedicated to Patreon now?
Yeah,
to merch.
It is. I was trying to kind of do both merch and jewelry with it, but then I didn't continue.
Yeah, that would be good to see, or at least I have to go back and do those playlists because you're a great teacher. It shows in the videos you put out and your dedication to your kids and all of that. Best of luck with the new channel as well. We'll link it as well. And I can't thank you enough, Margaret. I feel, we've met before. We've met a couple of times in person. We've had some get-togethers. You're going to the Green Room in Austin as well. Is that this coming weekend?
Yeah, it's next week.
So I hope that everybody who's a fan of yours will be able to see you there as well. Those of you who live in Austin, look for Margaret there.
I'll be there.
All right. Thank you so much again. I think we learned a lot today, and we really appreciate you taking the time from your busy day to be here with us. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We're going to let Margaret go. She's got to get those kids back in line. All right. Have a good one, y'all. Let's see if I can sign up.